Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a wild story that's shaking up the hip-hop world again, and it's all about the notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls. So grab a snack, because this tea is hot. Let's go back to the late 1990s. At that time, Biggie was signed to Bad Boy Records, the music label run by Sean Diddy Combs. A lot of people thought Biggie and Diddy were like family, super close, best friends even. But now, years later, Charli Baltimore is spilling some serious secrets that make us wonder if things were really what they seemed. Charli Baltimore, who was Biggie's girlfriend back then, says Biggie was actually planning to leave Bad Boy Records, and he wasn't going alone. He was ready to take people with him, including Charli, Cameron, Lil Cease, Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, and even more artists. They were all supposed to be part of something new, something big. The deal Biggie was looking at, it was said to be worth around $62 million. Yes, you heard that right, $62 million. That's a crazy amount of money even today, but back then it was huge. Charli says Biggie showed her the deal and told her straight up, "I'm about to get this money." She was shocked, like, "You really about to do this?" And Biggie was serious. He had plans to create a whole new label called The Commission, and it was going to include him, Charli, and even Jay-Z. This was going to change everything. But Biggie didn't just share his business moves with Charli. According to her, he opened up about a lot of personal things too. Things that had nothing to do with music, and everything to do with his safety. Charli claims Biggie told her he was scared. He thought that leaving Bad Boy might put him in danger. These weren't just private talks between a couple. She says they were more like warnings, serious stuff. And now, with Diddy going through a trial, Charli Baltimore is finally speaking up more. That's not all. Charli also says that Biggie told her about some things involving Diddy and Biggie's wife at the time, singer Faith Evans. If you thought this was just a love triangle story, it's not. There's a lot more going on here. Some people are saying that Charli has been telling people behind the scenes that Diddy and Faith Evans knew what happened to Biggie. That's a huge claim, and if it's true, it changes the way a lot of people might see Biggie's death. Think about it. Why has Faith Evans always stood by Diddy, even when people said he might have had something to do with what happened to Biggie? Well, Charli thinks it's because Faith knows more than she lets on, and that's where things start to get even messier. Okay, so we just talked about how Charli Baltimore said Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy Records and take a bunch of artists with him. He had a $62 million deal lined up and told Charli he was scared for his life. But that's not where the story ends. There's even more drama that Charli has shared, and it only gets deeper from here. Let's talk about Biggie and Charli's relationship. It wasn't perfect. In fact, Charli has opened up about some of the not-so-great parts. She said Biggie cheated on her while they were together. One time, she even found some very inappropriate photos of Biggie with another woman. And how did she react? Well, she lost it. Charli said she ended up trashing the hotel room they were staying in. It didn't stop there. She even threw his jewelry into a pool out of jealousy. Their relationship had a lot of ups and downs, and it sounds like it was pretty intense. And things got even more complicated when Charli found out that Faith Evans, Biggie's wife, was pregnant, while he was still involved with Charli. But get this, Biggie didn't even tell Charli himself. Charli says it was actually Biggie's mum who told her about the pregnancy. Apparently, she told Biggie he needed to tell Charli the truth, but he was too scared to do it. When Charli found out, she was completely shocked. She said they had broken up for a little bit during that time, but still, it was a big betrayal. Even though their relationship was messy, Charli says Biggie shared a lot of personal and serious stuff with her. Not just about Faith and Diddy, but also about his future plans. And she says one of those plans was to take her with him when he left Bad Boy Records. According to Charli, Biggie even told her he was afraid for his life because of what might happen if he left the label. That fear, she says, was real. And now people are starting to believe that fear was valid. Because after Biggie's death, more and more signs started to show that things at Bad Boy were not as friendly as they seemed. Charli's not the only one talking either. Photographers and insiders from back then have come forward saying Biggie was trying to get his publishing rights and fully break away from Diddy. But what's really shocking is what happened right after Biggie died. According to reports, Diddy didn't take time to grieve. Instead, people say he went straight into promoting Biggie's album, Life After Death. He allegedly told his team to focus on making it a bestseller, like he was more concerned with money and fame than with losing a close friend. And get this, when Rolling Stone magazine wanted to do a big tribute cover for Biggie, Diddy said no. He told them he wanted to be on the cover instead because he had a new album coming out called No Way Out. That's the one that made him a superstar. So instead of Biggie, the magazine ran a cover in 1997 with Diddy titled Puff Daddy, the New King of Hip Hop. Crazy, right? It's like Diddy was trying to take Biggie's spotlight. Even worse, 2 years later, Diddy told Rolling Stone that Biggie's death actually helped him sell millions of copies of No Way Out. He admitted it. That's the part that really makes you think about everything Charli Baltimore and others have said. But that's not all. There's even more to this story, and what comes next might just change how you see this whole situation. We've already talked about Biggie's plans to leave Bad Boy, his rocky relationship with Charli Baltimore, and how Diddy may have used Biggie's death to boost his career. But that's just the beginning. There's more, and it's coming straight from people who were close to Biggie, including his own mother. Biggie's mom, Valletta Wallace, has never been quiet about how she feels. In her book, she said her son trusted Diddy way too much. When Biggie was only 19 years old, Diddy gave him $25,000 and promised to look out for him. Valletta said that money bought Biggie's loyalty, but it wasn't real love or friendship. She believed her son was tricked into thinking Diddy cared about him, when really it was all about business. But what's really heartbreaking is how Valletta believes there was foul play in Biggie's death. She said many times that the LAPD knows exactly what happened, but for some reason, they won't do anything. In interviews, she said it felt like there was a conspiracy, that someone important was being protected. She's even said she knows who had Biggie killed, but she doesn't understand why that person hasn't been arrested. Valletta talked about how the pain of losing her son never goes away. She said her daughter Tiana still cries over her big brother, and that her family has suffered every day since Biggie was killed. She doesn't like talking about his death, especially when the anniversary comes around, but she wants justice. She wants the truth to come out. That's why she agreed to be part of the movie City of Lies, which was about the police corruption in Biggie's murder case. She said she didn't just do it for Biggie, she also did it for a man named Russell Poole, a detective who died while trying to uncover what really happened. She hoped the movie would shine a light on everything the LAPD tried to hide. In another interview, she told Entertainment Weekly that as long as she's alive, she won't give up fighting for justice. And if something happens to her, she hopes her family and friends will keep going. She said, "There is always hope." But the one thing that makes all of this even more suspicious is that Faith Evans, Biggie's wife, has said something very different from everyone else. While Charli Baltimore and Biggie's mum believe something shady went down, Faith has defended Diddy. She said there's no way he was involved in Biggie's death. In fact, she said she never even had the kind of close relationship with Biggie that Diddy did. But Charli Baltimore doesn't buy that. She says Faith knows exactly what happened. And now there are rumors that Charli believes Faith knows more about Diddy's part in Biggie's death than she's letting on. People are asking, why is Faith the only one still defending Diddy when so many others are speaking out? Charli Baltimore isn't finished talking yet. If she's really holding back even more secrets about Diddy, Faith Evans, and what really happened to Biggie, then what is she waiting for?